Oh, have you heard of passport bros?
What is a passport bro?
Okay, passport bros are men that are so fed up with Western women because we're all apparently so woke and so terrible and Western women don't want to be wives that they are now going to other countries to find wives.
That's like which countries?
Southeast Asia, the Philippines, the Dominican Republic.
So it's like the opposite of the mail order bride.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
Okay, so they're instead of ordering out, instead of using stamps.com.
Yeah, and bringing them here, they're like, we want to get out.
It feels more expensive, but...
Okay. It is. And so a lot of these men get remote jobs. And so they go there and they live in these countries and then they meet these women. And then women in the Western world, specifically the United States, are so pissed off about it. And they're like, you're going to all these countries where these women don't even know how to speak English. They can't even read. They're so uneducated. And then the men like film themselves with these women and like show themselves on dates. And the women are so elegant and they're so well spoken and they're so traditional. And they're like, look at these women. Yeah, passport bros. Because Western women are so bad.
Can we have a serious conversation about the LBHs, passport bros, like whatever you want to call them? I just don't understand how the most basic level men can leave America, travel to these other countries, and just pull absolute tens, like the hottest girls that you will ever see. And these men, like men that we wouldn't even look twice at, are just pulling them and convincing them to date them. Like, I truly don't understand it. Can someone please explain to me how this is happening and how these men are able to get away with it? Also, like, how can we stop this? It's out of control and it's getting to a point where it needs to be stopped.
Listen to her panic. She's literally asking, how can we stop this? But here's the beautiful part. She can't. There is nothing they can do. They are finally facing the consequences of their own demands. They're triggered because they're watching average men discover they don't need to be 6 foot tall millionaires to be loved. They just need to go where they're actually appreciated. And that truth is driving them insane.
This one's for the men who just say they've given up on Western women and are gonna go abroad for a woman. I understand some of your frustrations, but if you're gonna be a passport bro, there are certain downsides. First of all, you have no idea if this woman is using you for a visa or your money. You're not going to be able to have fun banter with her. She might be more feminine, but she might not feel like your best friend. She might feel more like a maid service. Number two, you're definitely going to run into some cultural differences. Is she going to be willing to give up her family, her friends, her career just to come to the States for you? You guys are also going to run into the issue of where to live. Or are you willing to move there? Passport broing is a cop-out for something that can be easily solved.
They call it running away because the thought of men having other choices scares them. They always thought they were the ultimate goal for men. Now they see regular guys being treated like kings abroad, and it's the biggest insult to them. They can't take the rejection.
Okay, let's talk about passport bros. Here's the first thing you need to know about these walnuts. Have you noticed that the ones who are chanting passport bros are the same ones that are also chanting about how they don't want to pay for dates? So they basically want you to believe that they can't afford dinner, but they can afford a passport and a flight out of the country. Second of all, they're in for a rude awakening, and I'm kind of here for it. We all know that the bar is in literal hell in the United States, and they are going to find that when they leave the United States, that women's standards are actually higher. So the only women they'll be getting are the ones that they're paying for, or women from impoverished areas that are desperate. And if you're thinking, damn, that sounds predatory, you would be right. And lastly, have you heard about the Tinder unalivings? I'm in various digital nomad groups because I travel all around, and it's been a hot topic, and particularly the Colombia digital nomad group. I'm not going to post an article. I'm not going to name names because I would like to respect the person that lost their life. But this sort of a thing is becoming more common, where basically women match with men on Tinder and then they drug them and they rob them. The numbers of men that this is happening to does not even come close to the numbers of women that this happens to. If you Google Tinder unalivings, you're going to get numerous articles of women who have been unalived after a Tinder date and like one of this particular man. Nevertheless, foreign women don't want the passport bros either, but they do want their money, probably more than American women want their money, since American women are some of the only women who are actually sometimes offering to pay for the date or half the date. So yeah, Ignore them. This will work itself out. These are the dying gasps of a genetic line that has no future.
Hey, Passport Bros, help me understand your logic here because I really don't get it. So you complain about American women, how they're of no value, they're just after you for your money, they just seem like too much work to get, not feminine enough or submissive enough. Your solution is to pack up all the things you know, leave all the people you love, move to a country you're not familiar with, to a place where their language might not be your own, in a new culture, to maybe meet a woman that will be very obviously into you because of your money. How is this, it just seems like a lot of work. If working to get a woman is the thing you're trying to avoid, that just seems like a lot. So I don't know if you guys follow the Reddit account of Passport Bros. I do. It seems like almost every post is about how it doesn't actually work. Women in these countries, they're going to use you for your money, but then have a more connection with the men that actually speak their language, men that are actually within their culture. They're just laughing behind your back because they know that they're just using you for your wallet, the thing you were trying to avoid by leaving America to begin with. Make it make sense.
They say the women overseas are just after money. Okay, but what's the difference? An American woman will take your money and look down on you for it. At least in other countries, your support is met with thanks, respect, and a peaceful home. That's a much better trade.
Have you guys seen the video of that crusty old dude who's like, my Filipino wife has been Americanized and she left me, and then he basically tells on himself for abusing her and then explains how he thinks he's a victim? Men like that are all over Thailand. They show up to Thailand with their little 50K salary and they feel like gods because the dollar goes so much further here. Pretty Thai women flirt with them because of the elevated status their perceived wealth gets them, and they start feeling the best they've ever felt in their life. Normally, I would love that for them, but unfortunately, it turns them into monsters. Passport bros hate me. They hate all Western women. I was shocked when I moved to Thailand 7 years ago. I joined a bunch of Facebook pages for like expats in Bangkok and Thailand. The men in there were so publicly hateful towards Western women, it was crazy. This is what they would say verbatim. Western women are all fat and ugly and they all want to be treated like Cinderella, but they're all super masculine and they're slobs. Meanwhile, Thai women are submissive and sweet and beautiful and they'll do anything I say, especially in the bedroom. And I'm not kidding, men would publicly post that in these Facebook pages with like 100,000 group members, and the comments were all men agreeing with them. Anyway, just talking to those guys for 5 minutes, it was very easy to see why they couldn't get a wife in America. It was because they hate women. And I often tell people when I lived in Kamping San, I was the only foreigner there, but that wasn't true. There were actually 2 men there. People would be like, oh, why don't you be friends with them? It was because I instantly knew they were passport bros, and it's very easy to tell. Women hating passport bros will not even look me in the eye. They will pretend like I don't exist. They will do anything not to have a conversation with me. But men who just genuinely fell in love with the Thai women are very pleasant and nice to me. And I'm gonna preface by saying I don't think all passport bros are bad. I think sometimes there are nerdy men or very shy men who couldn't get a wife in the USA. There are Thai women looking for a better life. They have an equal partnership where she takes care of the home and he pays for everything, and it works out great. Unfortunately, a lot of times it doesn't turn out like that. If you watch that dude's video, you'll notice he feels because he pays for everything, he owns her. These men see their women as property. And a lot of times, these Thai women don't know what they're getting into. $50,000 a year is a lot in Thailand. It's like 150,000 baht per month. So these women marry these men and get promised this life of luxury, and they move back to the US and living in a 1-bedroom apartment. They're struggling to make ends meet. On top of that, her husband disrespects her all the time, treats her badly in front of other people, and expects her to do all the household chores without complaint. And now that I moved back to the US and I'm friends with some Thai people, I see it now. One husband only gave his wife $100 per month for spending money. That was it. She had to go get a job because that wasn't enough, and now he gives her 0. And now she has a job, but she's also still expected to do all the household chores, all the cleaning, all the cooking, all the everything. And she doesn't even get her measly $100 a month anymore. And I just worry about my Thai sisters. I just want them to know that a lot of the women who come here looking for wives, they can't find a wife in the US because they hate women and they treat them badly. Do not marry one like that. 150,000 baht per month is not enough to live on for 2 people in America. You need at least 300,000 baht per month. Be careful out there.
They try to say this means men hate women. It's the complete opposite. These men like women so much, they're traveling the world to find ones who actually like them back. They want a partner to build with, not a boss to constantly fight with.
I didn't know what a passport bro was until one of my recent videos did well. Now I have the misfortune of knowing what the fuck that is. And my only question is, who's going to tell them? Who is going to tell these men that American women are some of the last demographics of women to catch up with what we're talking about right now. You think Russian women are going to put up with your shit? You think Asian women are going to go 50-50 with you on the bill? You think French women are going to sleep with you just because you showed up? Oh, who's going to tell them? The reason why you can't find a traditional woman in America anymore is because there's no such thing as a traditional home or family structure because of the way our economy is fucking us all over right now. And I think it's ironic that American women, in response to this, are going, oh, I can make my own money and I don't have to have kids and go through the painful process of labor and raising children alone, and I don't have to pretend to like someone's grubby little son in order to make ends meet, in order to survive. I have literally all the options in the world. Oh, I'm going to be a career woman and I'm going to be alone. And men's response to this is, better renew my passport, because you guys are the ones who are afraid to be alone. You guys are the ones who would rather fly to a foreign country and find a wife than be alone. How ironic is that? How ironic is that? You don't see the irony? You don't see the irony? And so many people, or so many men in my comments, are saying things like, good, have fun being single forever. Someone's gonna own a lot of cats, da-da-da. And I'm like, you promise? You promise, Brett? I don't know who needs to tell you this, and it's not fair. It's certainly not fair. But I can have like 5 boyfriends who all serve a different purpose in my life, the same way you guys have had 5 different girlfriends who did the same thing for you, and freely do that. There are no consequences except for some anonymous profile on TikTok calling me some kind of slur. And guess what, guys? I think I'm ready to face those repercussions. I think I can get over that. I think it's going to be okay. So, send me a postcard from France. Best of luck.
They're out here cheering about being independent and not needing a man. But the second men decide to leave and find someone who wants them, these women lose their minds. You can't say, you don't need us, and then throw a fit when we actually leave.
Fuck 'em, feed 'em, leave 'em alone. Let me explain something to you women really quick. There's this thing going around called passport bros, where men are actually getting their passports, going overseas to different countries, marrying those women, and bringing them back. Do you want to guess why? Do you just want to take a quick little guess? Because they actually know how to treat men. They cook, they clean, they cater, and they don't have shit-ass attitudes. Want to know how I know? Somebody my husband works with married a woman who is from Germany. I do not know if he went there and married her, brought her back, or if she is just from there and lives here. My husband tells me these stories. She works. She makes more than him. I think she's a nurse. And he will tell me stories where he'll be outside on the hammock and she'll rock him or rub his feet and like all this really funny stuff. Like she spoils him rotten. And he even tells her, I'm spoiled, or his friend tells him, like, I'm spoiled. She blows money on me. Like, she gives me all this affection. He's like, she's nothing like American women. And he means that in a good way. So before you guys think you're so oppressed as you claim to state in my comments, you're really not. And again, this whole feminist bullshit, it's a tactic to get in your head to push you and men apart to get more money. That's all this is. It is the government's way of brainwashing you. That's all feminism is. It's a fucking joke and a load of shit. So when 90% of American women are single and dying alone and have nothing going for them.
I like this one.
So what do you suggest the women in the West do if everyone's advice is for men in the West to look elsewhere for a wife? What happens to all the women in the West then?
Well, that one study we referenced was said by 2030 or something, 50% of women will be without a man. So that's the direction we're heading, because the men that are looking for those traditional values are starting to go overseas, and then the other half of the men are just checking out completely. They don't want to deal with women at all. So this is going to be a big issue that women are going to deal with in the future as their options dwindle.
Congratulations, you played yourself.